in between work, researching obscure topics, playing Castlevania Symphony of the Night randomizers because I'm a bit obsessed right now, and finally getting back to overdue stuff in Guild Wars, I'm also making time to get back to the relatively regular streaming pattern. That is to say, trying to pump out something every couple of days, sometimes things in a row, sometimes multiple times a day, and sometimes, taking a little break. In any case, I thought in lieu of covering anything from Hovind, because I don't want to burn myself out immediately on that, we'd look at whatever garbage Matt Powell has put up recently, since he's number two on the list of weirdos to cover, I guess, as far as the things I do. Since he, of course, spent that 6-month period, I think, staying with Dr. Dino. Yeah, so kind of, made himself someone to watch on that regard. Not like he wasn't normally someone to watch, but, it made him more prevalent to me. Any case, I go to check what's recent, and we get Christian versus Atheist. Someone lied. And it's Aaron Ross, so place your bets now on if this is going to be about the "we came from rocks" thing, if he's going to milk this again, like he milks the same damn Bill Nye video every couple of weeks, and just, Matt Powell really is an absolutely pathetic content creator. And that's saying a lot coming from me. I mean, my videos are straight garbage, but his work is something else. Kent is a better content creator than him, and Kent doesn't do the creation. He's just the face. It's really Joseph handling all the actual technical, technical difficulties. That's like, I don't know. I guess that kind of works. But yeah, let's jump right in, shall we?
Atheist YouTuber Aaron Ra called Matt Powell a liar for stating that evolution teaches that all life came from a rock.
Here we go. And also, what the fuck is up with AI voice number 7? You really gonna do AI voice number 7 for whatever the hell this is? Let's see where it goes.
This guy is the answer to his own question of how dumb one can get. He knows that no one believes we came from a rock, because many people have corrected him on this over the years, and I've explained that to him myself a few times.
At 0 point in our ancestry were we ever descended from a rock.
Let us note that he didn't actually show that this is all in response to Kent Hovind. Now here, if you can see beyond potato quality, because this was the far-off primeval era of 2018, that was in his one of his many responses to Kent Hovind, that first clip, and this puts the context there. But it almost seems like Matt's kind of making it about himself. But also, who got it through Matt's thick head that the TikTok response incoming crap was smart? That's something you now need to do. Are people really that stupid that they can't comprehend that a video is going to have some kind of response in it? Are we having to handhold people that much? I get it on TikTok where everyone has a 3-second attention span. If you don't flash up the same meme every 5 seconds, they fucking lose their mind. But you'd expect better from a person who's making a 13-minute, 47-second long video.
Nobody, nowhere, never, ever thought this. You have been wrong your whole life.
This is the grandfather of all of biology.
No, it's not, Matt. I mean, it didn't take anyone anyone who knows anything about you knew from the get-go that this is what you were going to go at again. So not only are you ridiculously predictable, but you're still doing this even though it's been explained by everyone. No, that is not at all what abiogenesis concepts state. You're going to distort shit to try to make some ridiculous straw man argument that somehow seems ridiculous, seems stupid to say. You're going to present it as something stupid, yet your book of bullshit says Adam was a dust man. Literally an ancient Middle Eastern golem spell put in as the origin of humanity. then you get Rib Woman. Unless you're reading the other version of the story where both were made at the same time. And actually, what's funny is apparently the Dust Man is actually like the second retelling of the creation story rather than in the first. So there you go. That's a thing. It's funny how they just blend the two together to create what's supposed to be a coherent narrative for them. Well, there's no contradictions. Let's continue though with this jackass.
In fact, this is the ancestor of all humans, according to Darwinian evolution.
No. Even if anything in science said anything as ridiculous, Matt, Darwin's concepts had nothing to do with the origin of life. They were on speciation. Basic observations on root principles surrounding variation amongst life. And the key thing about it was him realizing that there's not necessarily any limitations like your Saint Hovind always loves to say. That was kind of the thing. He kind of pieced a lot of stuff together and set in motion a thought train that has caused us to really understand life.
Interestingly enough, we didn't just descend from fish or from primates. According to Darwinism, we actually descended from rocks, and I'm going to prove that to you.
No, we didn't, and no, you're not going to prove that. You're going to show the same random article clippings taken completely out of context that you intentionally misinterpret and project your misinterpretations onto them so that the gullible idiots who watch your crap and actually think you have anything going on inside that weird-shaped head of yours. I'm sorry, I just noticed. I'm like, damn, he got a weird-shaped head. My Chris, that's an ad hominem. No, it's called conservational comedy. Get the fuck over it. What was I going to say? Yeah, these people think you have anything going on up there beyond lies, damn lies, and biblical statistics.
Here in a moment, here's from a scientific paper called Genesis: Rocks, Minerals, and the Geochemical Origin of Life. It states that rocks and minerals must have played key roles in virtually every phase of life's emergence, and they may have even acted as life's first genetic system.
Note the ellipses. You're skipping parts there, Matt. If there's ever ellipses, you know good and goddamn well that whoever is quoting something has skipped a section of stuff. And with creationists, it's always intentionally avoiding stuff and changing the meaning of things. If I wasn't a lazy ass, I would look this up and see what he skipped. So feel free to, as all the conspiracy nuts say, do your own research and see just what's been skipped in that, since he provided enough of a citation that it should be trivial to find this. But you know what you're trying to make happen here. I can just presume. A strongly educated guess is what it's trying to say is the rocks and minerals as strata and as the particular materials that would have been basic building blocks in the case of certain mineral elements. Nucleation sites, what have you. What I'm getting at is that it's like trying to say that because life would develop in water, that the water is our grandmother. And that the planet itself is critical to it, and the sun is critical to it by its existing, because the planet has to orbit something. You're taking things and stretching them way too far by design to create your absurdist caricature of what abiogenesis actually says is a likely model for life's origins. Purely chemical processes, I might add. That's what I'm getting at. It's kind of hard to word, and Matt Powell immediately infuriates me. I don't quite know why.
System. So here we have it. Life's first genetic system.
I keep correcting you on this, but you do not correct yourself. That's why after 20 years, you still repeat the idea that I'm supposed to believe that we came from a rock, even though I've seen a dozen people correct you on this very point, and you've never fixed it.
Here's from Neil deGrasse Tyson. He said, "We are not figuratively, but literally stardust."
Yeah. Do you understand what's being said there? Right? Okay. Stardust is a term referring to effectively the ashes. Again, more metaphorical language. But the material that results from the death of giant stars. Your giants, supergiants, hypergiants, as they fuse heavier elements and go nova, supernova, what have you, depending on the particular characteristics, particular binary or trinary pairings, etc. Or you get those kilonova incidents when two neutron stars merge. That's some fun shit right there. That's how you get your elements that just shouldn't exist. Yeah, that's what Neil deGrasse Tyson is referring to. We are made of material that was once forged in the cores of dying stars. It is incredibly beautiful. He is not saying we're literally dust, like, ironically, your religion does, Matt. You don't seem to understand metaphor at all.
Here's from Lawrence Krauss. He said, every atom in your body came from a star that exploded.
Oh, I didn't even realize I had paused on Lawrence Krauss saying exactly what I was about to say.
And the atoms in your left hand probably came from a different star than your right hand. It really is the most poetic thing I know about physics. You are all stardust.
Yes. Again, as I explained previously. It's a very potent metaphor for what the facts are.
No evolutionary biologist, nobody promoting evolutionist believes we came from a rock. Nobody. That is a lie on your part, which you have never corrected.
I can say, and if I can interject, if you don't mind, I've actually brought the same thing up to you a couple of years ago.
Oh, Watercrest filling in the missing parts. Hey there, buddy. Glad to catch you on a stream. He's not covering deep wrestling antics or working on 15 Let's Plays at once. Everyone say hi to Watercrest. Everyone's favorite echidna. They catalyzed the synthetic key biomolecules. They selected, protected, and centralized those molecules. They jump-started metabolism is the part that was taken out in those ellipses. So yeah, taking out the key points there. Life is a chemistry set that uses the minerals to work. Yep. Papermat likes to say rocks are key to life, is talking about minerals helped life diversify into different species, not to start. Bingo!
I have never seen any evolutionary biologist or anybody advocate that evolution teaches that we came from a rock. I have only heard that from creationist source. So can I ask you, do you have any citation that we can look at from some kind of evidentialism?
I just realized this video is probably going to get demonetized because of the stupid Austin Powers Redux music going on in the background, because Matt thinks he's cute, and creationists who don't care about this crap can get away with using whatever they want because, stick it to people who cover it. So if you can toss a few shekels my way, that'd be killer to compensate for his bullshit. If not, that's cool.
Evolutionary textbook that says evolution claims we came from a rock.
No one believes we came from a rock. Every time you've ever said otherwise, it's always been wrong. The textbooks you read from don't say that we came from rocks either. I know that this is one of your favorite lies, that you've repeated it every day for decades. And I know you don't have enough accountability to stop telling that lie just because you've been proven wrong as a matter of public record. But your fault.
Sorry, didn't change anything. I was wondering why it was potato quality, and then it's like, oh, it's still potato quality. Thanks, Matt.
Followers, donors, and minions will notice how dishonest you are the next time you repeat this lie, because they'll know you know better.
You once said that rocks conceived. Do you still believe that?
We know that evolution teaches that because it is, like I said earlier, it's defined as chemical evolution. And
only by idiots like you. You've already conflated 3 separate concepts, if not more. Also, you really need to remember, Matt, that you're already scum, but associating with Brett Keane, of all people, does not help any element of whatever fringes of credibility to even be worth discussing anything with that you may think you have. The fact that Brett Keane is still doing anything is a testament to the fact that some people quite simply will never give up. He's not failing upwards. He just refuses to cease to be. I could almost admire it if he wasn't such a ridiculous manatee.
And then number two, I can actually show you a paper that actually explains this. So I'm going to go to the paper right now, actually. The title of the paper is that you owe your life to a rock, Mr. Jones.
And again, that does not say rocks are the origin of life. You always want to point out, especially that paper that you love so goddamn much, but never does it do any of these things ever explicitly say what you claim they do. And when you are told that they do not say that and is explained to you what is actually being said by the words on the page, you just pull the old creationist tactic of nuh-uh.
You owe your life to a rock.
Also, note that this event happened back when Matt was at DAL, because there's all of Kent Hovind's shit. And it's his old setup. Well, semi-old.
Erosion of metal-rich granite long ago set the stage for multicellular organisms.
Yes, set the stage. Okay, so a production of Cats on Broadway back when that was going. Is the stage, is the performance hall, the theater, responsible for that existing? As in, was that the most critical thing to that play existing? Or is that just where it happened to be performed? And it could have been performed theoretically anywhere. Right? I'm just trying to come up with a concept that maybe you can understand, and maybe I'm off base here. I don't know. But I think that analogy kind of works. You know, the Broadway musical can kind of technically happen anywhere. You know, I'm not going to get into nitty gritty on what it means to be this, that, and the other. Y'all know what I mean. The stage is just a venue, right? The rocks were just a venue for chemicals to do their things. As I hit the wrong button.
Check this out. This is literally what your theory is saying. It says, thank goodness for granite. This is how the article starts out. Thank goodness for granite. You know what? I would thank God for life, not rock.
Yeah, you would, but hey, rocks exist, Matt. Prove your God, buddy. Right, didn't think so.
Thank God that we're alive. Thank goodness for granite. If not for the formation and subsequent erosion of large quantities of metal-rich granite, these heavy metal elements, Mr. Jones, had to erode from the granite that somehow came here by chance.
Heavy metals are not involved in life. Life uses pretty light elements, quite honestly. You know, a lot of them formed mostly in normal-ass stars. Basic stellar fusion. I mean, there's plenty of chemicals and or elements that need to be formed in, you know, nova and supernova events. But, you know, carbon, oxygen, lithium, of course, you know, hydrogen is primordial. You know, carbon's kind of the thing that's what makes things organic is carbon bonds. Yeah, that's kind of a trivial element to get a hold of. Even in your straw man, you're wrong.
Rock that we can't create on purpose somehow created itself by chance, and then when it was raining for 2 million years.
Hey, Matt, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. It's called physics. You get enough energy behind something, you can make any element you want. The old alchemy legends, that whole idea of transmuting lead into gold, technically totally possible. You just got to do some stuff right with some high energy particles in just the right way, at just the right times, at just the right temperatures, probably from just the right angles, and you got to tilt your head just a certain way and stick out your tongue and hope that, you know, quantum physics and Heisenberg uncertainty works in your favor. and you might just get something interesting. It's really quite beautiful, but it's a beauty you are quite simply too stupid to ever be able to appreciate. Now, that's neither here nor there. I'm getting into what is technically possible versus what's practically possible, but the physics doesn't preclude such transmutations. And indeed, we do them regularly in, for example, nuclear power. Uranium breaks down into other elements, buddy. And fusion, the sun does it all the time with the hydrogen to helium cycles and so on. But that's just me spending some time obsessing over physics because that's what I've been literally buried, well, not literally buried in, but metaphorically buried in for the past couple of months because I'm hyper obsessed with my science fiction story that I'm writing, having a perfectly plausible energy economy for galactic travel, while simultaneously putting in some sci-fi elements to cover my ass, but keeping things as grounded as possible, more grounded than Star Trek, and that's pretty impressive given Star Trek takes some liberties, but a lot of it is pretty straightforward for crazy science fiction from the 60s originally. But again, that's neither here nor there. I'm fucking rambling. Your understanding of how reality works, Mr. Powell, is woefully inadequate. And the fact that people see you as an authority on anything is quite terrifying.
It eroded the rocks to a point where multicellular life would now be able to use those chemical compounds to survive. That is what evolution teaches. That is chemical evolution. That is the fundamental of the theory.
I'd have to read that again. I did read it once, but I'd have to read that again to make sure.
It is what we're saying. So I'm not lying. You accuse me of lying.
Yeah, you are, Matt. You lie constantly. Apologetics in and of itself is lying.
Life, we're already on this planet, though.
What's that?
Some of the ingredients were already on this planet.
Yes, but the ingredients for life would not have assembled themselves if it weren't for the heavy metal elements that came out of the granite rock when it was being rained on for 2 million years, according to the model.
Yeah, I mean, let's be clear on effectively transmuting elements in the way I was describing with particle accelerators and the like. You do have to put more energy in most cases than you get out. That's just fundamental. In fact, that happens at iron. That's why supermassive stars die once they reach a Chandrasekhar limit-sized core of iron. You ain't fusing past iron, and once you get that high of a mass, it's fucking over. Incredible process goes on when a star dies like that. But in that moment, you get the energies to do the higher fusion. It's all something. God damn it! Sorry, I keep hitting the microphone. It's all something I really need to do a particular piece on sometime, but I want it to be structured just right, rather than some ad hoc thing like I do here. But yeah, the physics doesn't preclude it at all, and indeed it happens all the time. But yeah, it's really not financially worth it with current technology and current energy capabilities to try to just transmute stuff for the hell of it. You can do it, but there's no real gain to be had.
So single life.
Yep. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, so single-celled organisms could exist without it, but multicellular organisms, according to evolution, could not have existed, according to this paper, could not have existed unless these heavy metal elements were eroded from the rocks. So when you come on here and say, nobody believes, or when you get on your channel, nobody believes that we came from rocks, that's just a lie.
Mocking Aaron Ra there, and it's like, this dude on the right is not Aaron Ra. What kills me about Matt Powell when you look at him is half the time he's got that fucking skier's tan going on, where he's clearly been wearing goggles and shit, but his face is like sunburned, but his eyes are, you can tell where he was wearing a mask and goggles or whatever, and it just looks fucking weird. Like, dude, come on.
You're just hearing that from other atheist YouTubers, because this is what evolution teaches. If evolution teaches...
No, and no. Also, Matt, let's just step back for a second and if that was what the science said and what it actually pointed to, what the fuck would it matter? That would apparently be where factual, observable, demonstrable reality goes. So what does it even matter? But you focus on this because you know it pisses people off, not because you're right and we're all wrong and we're all lying, but because it's the dishonest crap that it is. You play this I'm not lying card like all manipulators do, trying to play the I'm the calm, rational one, all while intentionally doing everything you can to piss off the whatever opposition you've got, because you're not winning on facts. You're winning on feelings and making your little cult of idiots think, oh, they got angry, so they must not be right. My little calm fuckboy here, he's the one who's telling the truth. He's speaking God's word. If that's the best you can do, Matt, then all right, but shows how much of a worthless piece of shit you and your arguments actually are.
The Earth was a hot, molten ball of rock, and then it rained on the rocks for millions of years, and out of that soup came me and you over generations and variations. That is what evolution teaches then, is that we evolved from rocks, that we descended from the chemical elements contained in these rocks.
No. Not in the way you're ascribing it to, we should say. I mean, where are these materials going to be? Again, it's like having a play without a stage. You need the stage. You put the cast on the stage and things happen. That's how this works.
So that is the model.
No, Matt isn't back at DAL. This is years old stuff that he spliced back into his video. And he always likes to show this clip because dude just sits there for a second and it's like, how do you respond to that kind of idiocy? That's the thing with Powell. With Hovind, you can kind of immediately rip back into something. But with Powell, he's saying the same shit, but he says it in such a way where it's just like, where do you go from here? It's like, you're just lying. Stop it.
I'll have to read up on that because I didn't anticipate that question.
I'm not trying to be down on you, Mr. Jones, but isn't it kind of not a good thing?
Well, yeah, half of his stuff comes from Kent. I mean, he was a Hovindite probably from the get-go. So, you know.
To get on video and to bash me and say, Matt Powell's a liar, he's just...
Yes, label on the bottom does say God TV Radio, because that's the branding that Brett Keene's retarded manatee ass. Yes, I said the word, but I think the man actually has severe mental deficiencies, which actually makes it even worse to say that, but whatever. That's his thing. So back in the Drunken Peasants days, we'd all crack jokes of God TV, radio, telephone, telegraph, semaphore, smoke signal, carrier pigeon, Morse code, all kinds of shit. Because somehow Brett Keene, the shut-in manatee who probably hasn't left his house or his bed in a decade, thinks that's a brand. I don't know. Again, this is from years ago as well. I'm pretty sure he's burned bridges with everybody, but Powell isn't going to waste a second to show this clip.
Making all this stuff up, he's disgusting when I have sources for everything that I brought forth today.
And you're misrepresenting what those sources say, as per standard creationist tactics.
Literally every claim that you said I've lied about, I've brought sources forward for. So I would just encourage you to make sure to do research before you jump onto discussions like this, and don't call me a liar for making a certain claim that has been verified in this discussion, because it is a true claim. This is the model.
The rock thing, no, I don't believe for 1 second, no, because I think you're oversimplifying. Because you said on video that a rock. You said on video. I was quoting a paper. You said on video that a rock conceived.
What I said was...
Can you tell me how a rock conceives?
Yeah, he's holding you to your words, Matt. The way you phrase things matters, and the deceptive way you interpret those kinds of articles. That's what pisses people off. And that's why our friend here on the right and others will call y'all out on this shit. Because it's what you do constantly.
Can you say that again? I can barely hear you.
I'm pulling the Hovind card. I can't hear you, even though it was a very clear statement.
About
You
how a rock
said-
conceives?
You said on video, a rock, they believe, your exact words, they believe a rock conceived.
Correct.
You tell me how, you tell me how a rock can conceive.
I don't believe it can conceive.
But you said it did.
Yeah, Matt, that's what you were asserting here. That's what you always assert. That's what Kent asserts. Your statement implies a literal biological origin from life, as if from rocks, as if the rocks somehow fart out organisms. Please explain. From your sources, explain that process. If you can't, then it would seem to me that the sources you cite don't actually say what you think they say.
Here, okay, but no, your model is claiming that it did because it rained.
No,
Your man was claiming it did.
No. You said it did.
rained on the rock, and the rock, within that rock, heavy elements came out, and then we evolved from those heavy elements. That means that we were conceived from rocks. It's not hard to figure
Not
out.
conceived at all. It's a total misrepresentation. You're trying to oversimplify things, and it's ridiculous.
It is not a misrepresentation.
Except it is, fucker.
It's complete misrepresentation.
Well, then
You
let
said
the
a
viewer-
rock conceived.
then-
How does a rock conceive?
See, I mean, at least Kent balances out the abject idiocy with the fact that he's also a fucking goofball in a lot of ways, and not in the fun way like I am. I mean, he's like just, there's a level of incompetence there. But Powell, he's just an all-around prick. I'm not saying, Kent isn't either, but it's like,
Let the viewers decide. The viewers can pull up the article for themselves that says in the title of
I'll pull it up myself.
you
Yeah.
owe your life to a rock. That's the
Yeah,
title
I'll read the paper. But I'm asking you right now, how does a rock conceive?
You tell me. I don't
he doesn't.
believe that
What-
it did.
what does
He
it say?
doesn't either, and that's the point we're getting across to you, trying to get across to you and your idiot followers, is that nobody thinks this. You lie saying that people think it by misrepresenting what casual conversions of paper for popular consumption will say. What particular articles written by experts, but still dumbed down for the average consumer, scientifically minded but not expert consumer, will say, because it makes your idiocy seem reasonable by comparison, or so you think. And by ridiculing a complete fabrication, you can present an air of authority, of validity to the idiots who already believe the garbage you and others say.
In the paper that a rock conceived. What does it say in the theory of evolution that a rock conceived?
At this point, we're just arguing hermeneutics. You're moving the goalpost.
I'm not moving the goalpost at all.
You're just playing hermeneutics. You're moving. What fallacy can I bring up? You're moving the goalpost. I'm telling you, that was the worst thing we ever did, was teach these idiots about the concept of logical fallacies. And then once they suddenly learned the names of a few of them, they just start accusing everybody of everything.
I'm not moving the goalpost at all.
I've explained.
You mentioned
I've
rocks.
you on this many times.
All right,
I've corrected you on this many times.
Gentlemen, let's relax. Let's try to do it one.
No, Powell was just over-illuminated during this, and he also, especially around these times, this is back when he was down in Alabama at DAL, he wears weird, like, wraparound shades or something, some kind of goggles regularly, so he ends up getting a goddamned, as one of the commenters earlier described it, raccoon tan. So he's always got that perpetual slight sunburn, but then his eyes are just nothing. It looks so ridiculous.
At a time here.
That's fair enough. You mentioned rocks. You said a rock conceived on one of your videos. You said that this is the theory of evolution. This is what it teaches. A rock conceived. You tell me, where in the theory of evolution does it say a rock conceived?
The reason that we know that, according to evolution, a rock would have conceived is because, and I've explained this many
Facepalm is very welcome there. You're not getting it, Matt. But of course, that's intentional because you're a deceptive prick like every creationist.
times. I'm going to explain it one more time, and then I'm done. Because these heavy chemical elements that were contained in the rocks were
No, Nino, this is old. It's just in Matt Powell's video because he's trying to make his stupid point.
rained on and were eroded out of the rocks. And then those heavy chemical elements were what made our life possible. So, yes, the title of the article is You Owe Your Life to a Rock, and that is what they are saying. They say, thank goodness for granite, or we wouldn't be here.
Which, saying that in a nice metaphorical sense, is in no way, shape, or form saying that we came from rocks. Learn how English works, you fucking moron.
They're saying we descended from rocks.
And a $9.99 super chat from Rosina. The difference between Kent and Matt is that Kent stopped learning anything newer than what was known in the 1920s. Matt is a bit more up to date, requiring more work to debunk. Yeah, I'd say that's a fair assessment.
They're saying that life came about via spontaneous generation, via soup. And you said that the RNA world was a good mechanism to rely on. That's the one that I personally buy into, is the RNA world hypothesis, which I debunked just about 30 minutes ago. Sunlight and water destroys DNA. So how is life going to assemble itself in sunlight and water on rocks? Explain that.
How about you read the actual scientific literature on what the hell actually would have gone on during abiogenic processes? And even more importantly, where these things would have happened. Also, I think you need to double check on the sunlight and water destroy DNA thing, because don't think you quite understand how all these things actually work. Because don't think the sunlight and water, like you think, are actually going to matter in the early stages. DNA didn't come about from the get-go, buddy.
Well, I still haven't had an answer about how a rock conceived. A word does it say?
I've answered you 3 times.
No, you didn't.
3 times on this.
No, you didn't. How does a rock conceive? How does a rock produce an egg?
Mr. Jones, I'm not going to answer you again.
You never answered the first time. There's the thumbnail. There's the thumbnail.
How does a rock produce an egg? How does a rock produce sperm? How does a rock reproduce?
A rock.
How does it reproduce?
A rock.
Well, one rock starts banging another rock.
Conceived RNA via erosion of the granite, erosion of the chemicals, the heavy elements in this article that were eroded, that somehow conceived, that somehow assembled themselves in sunlight and water, the very thing that destroys DNA. You should be able to just...
Hey, Matt, I'm gonna give you a thing here. Amino acids and basic protein compounds and the like. Those would have been some of the first things formed. Maybe not proteins per se. I forget the exact process, but your early amino acids definitely, because they are apparently effectively primordial. Because when we've tested samples of asteroid material, yeah, there's amino acids on there. The exact ones that life on Earth happens to use. So we kind of have a possible seed moment there. Once you get those kinds of self-replicating molecules doing their thing in the universal solvent that is water, physics kind of takes over, because life is just chemistry after all. You're forgetting that very key element.
Say, okay, you know what? Sunlight and water destroys DNA. I'm throwing it out. But you'll still sit here and argue, well, why are you saying a rock conceived? I'm not saying a rock conceived. I was at Arizona State University, and I interviewed them. And in fact, I could show you the interviews of them saying, yeah, we believe we came from rocks.
Oh, please do. Please do a video about it.
Ooh, the the moody music and the transitions and you didn't you just kind of included the complete ownage there, Matt.
Creationists constantly misrepresent evolution.
They sure do, Aaron.
And the same thing with when he says, to this day, despite everybody correcting him, he still says that, well, evolutionists believe we came from a rock. Except that no evolutionist ever believed that. Nobody, not one, not ever.
Yeah.
So he says we all do, nobody ever did. This is just a lie he always tells and cannot correct.
The materials that eventually formed this organic matter that formed into what we consider life came from the water hitting the rock and the surface of the earth.
Nobody believes we came from a rock, yet
That's not saying we came from a rock. Once again, stage, Matt. Stage.
the materials that eventually formed into life came from the rock being hit by water on the surface of the earth.
Super chat from Rogue Rainbow, 6.99 Canadian shekels. Them some good shekels. How does a rock conceive? Well, that's simple. You just bang two rocks together. Got him. Just because you went to ASU doesn't make you smart by proxy. Also, U of A is better suck it.
The fact that they're embarrassed that they believe that life descended from rocks should tell us that we...
Have you ever seen anyone react in embarrassment to that comment being made? No, it's an absurdity that immediately is like, oh, we're going to this level. Beautiful. But go on, Matt. Continue to be dishonest. Continue to be a lying prick.
We should boldly defend our faith and stand up for Jesus and what we believe in.
Fuck your Jesus.
What I've noticed about Matt Powell in particular, because I've made more videos about Matt than I have about Kent, is that whenever Matt says something and I think, right, that's clearly a load of crap, so let me find out exactly what it should be. Whenever he says anything, I can almost always only find any reference to that thing he cited on a creationist science website.
You're not helping your case, Matt. You're not helping your case. Seriously, you'll never watch this, Matt, but I'll just speak as if you would. You would think that if your arguments were so tight and were so well researched that when Creaky Blinder does his own lookup of what you say, he would find sources from quote unquote our side for that information, but he doesn't. He only finds creationist garbage. Whereas when we will do things such as cite the Bible itself for its atrocities, for its lies, for whatever the fuck we decide we want to point out to you Nimrods this week, it's right there and can be found in all kinds of sources. When we wish to cite something scientific, we find it in the proper science, because that's where the science is. So if you're going to be talking about science and yet everything that you come up with seems to be just general creationist gobbledygook, that kind of tells you that the sources consist of creationists just making it the fuck up. Insert the clip from that one Metal Gear game, I think it was anyway, of my sources, I made it the fuck up.
I'll read the paper. But I'm asking you right now, how does a rock conceive?
You tell me. I don't believe that it did.
I find it intriguing how some of these guys that have a very big following, they will just make these blanket statements. Nobody
Look in the mirror, Matt.
believes we came from a rock. Nobody believes that, Matt. When you can just...
Ding, ding, ding. Thank you, Rosina. Matt doesn't understand the human body requires sodium and calcium, two things that come from rocks. Because, Matt, those are elements that bond with silicates quite well. It's all chemistry, Matt. And so sometimes the source of certain compounds that are necessary happens to be the greater materials the elements bond to more readily. Like quote unquote rocks.
Easily look it up.
They want to make believe this alternative reality.
It's like with Matt Powell, I am convinced that he knows that he's speaking nonsense.
You mentioned he's been corrected by so many different people.
You know, Matt, can you find anything else to misrepresent? Notice that it's always the same things that he's been using for years that he got from his lover Kent. It's never anything new, never anything fresh. Huh. Makes you think.
Has he ever said, okay, well, I was wrong about that?
No, he doesn't do that.
Change his position. Right, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He'll be corrected about the same thing.
Notice ingredients for life in space rocks that fell to Earth. Right there. The sentence grammatically, in every interpretable way by anyone who comprehends English. Ingredients for life is its own fragment of the statement. Then it's stressing that where they are located, which is irrelevant to the compounds. It is not saying the compounds were from the rock, as in part of the rock. They simply hitched a ride, if you want to simplify this. It's incredible that you have to argue the basics of English with these people. That's how dishonest they are.
Over and over again, and keep repeating what he knows to be wrong. They're not interested in truth. They know that. Matt Powell's a professional.
Now, this one, just because of its phrasing, I am genuinely curious on where this actually goes, because that phrasing is a little sus. But when we see the initial quote, we see this intertwined coevolution of geosphere and biosphere, as in the geologic strata and life go hand in hand in effect. So that highlighted statement is probably elucidated on further down in the article. And it probably makes sense in the context in the end. But of course, cherry picking the exact little parts they want. Not the whole thing. You'll notice they never show the whole article and do a detailed read of it. But oh, Matt, we sure will read all the garbage you idiots publish when it's actually worth our time. Which it usually isn't, and that's the key thing. It's normally nothing worth our time. And since it all boils down to, duh, Bible says a thing, if we're going to get into the nitty-gritty, we just focus on that. And when that immediately fails, blows up in y'all's faces, you then proceed to lie about reality. And so this kind of goes into a big circle of, just arguing back and forth what reality actually is. But you'll accept science until it contradicts your magic book of bullshit.
They're not interested in truth. They know that. Matt Powell's a professional liar. He knows everything he says is wrong. He doesn't care. It's a make-believe thing.
Fuck you, Matt Powell. Fuck you and the horse you rode into DAL on. Gobbledygook, yep. I use that word. I use consarned on the daily. You can thank growing up on a healthy diet of Looney Tunes and eventually the Simpsons joke where Bart is told to stop talking like a grizzled 1840s prospector for cementing me using such weird language. God spelled backwards is dog. Very good point. I think we should stop defending the mechanism of evolution because it is apparent with biodiversity, but it's time young Earth creationists start defending their books, start answering ridiculous questions like how, I presume you're going to say we're supposed to, or they expect, we have to, or they expect us to, is the idea you're going at. Totally. I'm all for it. I think that is an article because it mentions Nova. Yeah, but I'm just curious on the exact details on where it goes, because it was apparently, it said it was Science. I don't know whether Science being the magazine, the consumer news. What am I trying to say? The general popular science dealy, as opposed to the actual proper journal. Well, that journal would be Nature anyway. so I'm getting stuff mixed up a bit. Ben 10, the original, and Transformers animated were amazing. Sorry, I'm a Y2K kid. No, totally. Totally. Anyway, yeah, that was Matt Powell's bullshit. Every time excuse me, the yawns are coming. Every time I cover a Matt Powell video, I am reminded of exactly why I hate covering Matt Powell. He is a completely dishonest piece of shit who leaves very little to mess with, save for his outright persistent lies. I don't know. I should probably do a few small dedicated pieces to his crap because he also doesn't come up with anything new. At least Hovind has a lot more that he lies about constantly. This man, whew, same 3 videos all the time. So yeah, fuck him. Fuck you, Matt. Zoomy bringing up some of their favorite cartoons were Gargoyles and Awesome when Darkwing Duck fucking loved it as Chippendale's Rescue Rangers. Spider-Man was cool, but man, the pacing was terrible on that. X-Men had a little better pacing, but I think I liked Spider-Man a little more actually. I don't know. But man, that was some of my jam back in the day. I'm planning on starting up writing more, and I'm actually going to go through a bit of a big nostalgia bomb for a lot of things. So if you were born in the, like me, mid 80s to mid 90s range, born in 85, so there you go. A lot of the stuff that would have been current at that time are things you would have caught that were a little older. Probably going to do a lot of pieces about going forward. Just really have some fun with things because I need to bring a little bit more kind of refined my center after a lot of recent bullshit and go back to a bit of a happy place with some stuff that just I enjoyed then and sometimes still enjoy now. It just depends. We're all overgrown kids in one way or another. Matt Powell sucks so much he's making Chris sleepy. Yep. He's draining the life right out of me. These are actually yawns of death. Hanna-Barbera stuff was always fun. I love me some classic Scooby-Doo. Matt Powell regularly calls for the genocide of anyone in the LGBTQ plus community. I was about to say Lego community. I was like, wait, what? Because I'm so damn blind, that kind of blended together. Yeah, he's an absolute sick fuck. And completely forgot about Batman. That was a damn good one. Batman anime series was damn good. And Pirates of Darkwater was absolutely fucking amazing. I absolutely 100% fucking loved Pirates of Darkwater. That is some of the best shit. And honestly, if you like animation and have never watched Pirates of Darkwater, 2 seasons got canceled before its prime. They only got a half of the Jewels of Octopan or whatever they were hunting for. I can't remember the story too well. It's been a few years since I last rewatched. Oh my god, Pirates of Darkwater is so fucking good. So check that shit out. Justice League Animated is great as well. Yeah, it was nice. Pacing was terrible. Ultimate Spider-Man Disney Plus did a lot better with that. Justice League, love that show too. And I absolutely loved Young Justice. And actually wasn't at that point that much of a fan of those kinds of shows. But I mean, they weren't bad. I just didn't want to watch. Justice League, yep. You go. Reboot was great. And Inspector Gadget. I also quite enjoyed that. On a note, Prince Watercress has done a Let's Play of the Inspector Gadget game, I believe, for Super Nintendo. So you can go to his YouTube channel and check that out. It's a classic. Seriously, if you're into Let's Plays, you need some time to kill in the background. My buddy Prince Watercress does a lot of good shit. It's kind of half walkthrough, half review, and half just playing the damn game. It's kind of awesome. But we could sit here and talk animation all day. Damn, I'm yawning to death. I'm yawning to death. It'd be cool to just have a stream one day where that's all we freaking do is just talk classic stuff we like. A little bit more positivity around here than having to combat creationist stupidity. But for now, I am going to get myself something to snack on, fire up Guild Wars, have a little fun, and then go to sleep and do everything tomorrow. Inventory at work happens tonight. I won't be there, but when I get in the morning, I've got to help finish up whatever hasn't been done and then do my thing. Yep. Rosina with I come from the net through systems, peoples, and cities of this place. Mainframe. My format, Guardian. To mend and defend. To defend my newfound friends and their hopes and dreams. Oh yeah, Watercress is still here. 2 for the Super NES version. Yeah, two Let's Plays of Inspector Gadget for the SNES because he'll go back and replay games sometimes, which is pretty awesome. 1 for Game Boy. Also did 1 for SNES Dark Water. Need to redo that one day. Yep, Watercress had done that right. It was actually right after I had discovered that there was even a Pirates of Dark Water SNES game, and it just happened to be the next thing he played. So that was pretty damn cool. But yeah, I'm hopping off here. Love y'all as always. You're fucking awesome. Catch everyone next time, and yeah, hopefully I'll put some alerts out when I finally start posting some of those nostalgia bomb videos. Given that it's October, I think it's only fitting, especially since I was able to get good copies of the complete original series. I might touch on a little Nickelodeon Saturday night Twilight Zone-esque show. You may have heard of it. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Loved it as a kid. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. And I will catch everyone next time.